Draft season is here. I think the three most solid, star-laden type of prospects. Number one, Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter. This guy's a wrecking ball and a game destroyer. You have two-way, do-everything Swiss Army knife in Travis Hunter from Colorado. Can catch more than 1,000 yards worth of passes at Colorado as a wide receiver. Can also be a shutdown corner. Who knows if the team that drafts him will allow him to play both sides of the football, but the guy's got the ability to do so. And number three, quarterback Cam Ward from Miami. He set all types of school records. The number one quarterback prospect in this year's draft, always the most in-demand position in the NFL. But how about the most intriguing prospects? It's time to get to that list. Hey, before we do that, remember to subscribe to the channel. Click on this button below me. That way you'll get notifications when we do other deep dives, draft deep dives like this one. We've looked into Cam Scatterbo. We've looked into the drop of Shedeur Sanders in so many mock drafts. Make sure you're clicked here to be one with our draft coverage here on this channel. Number 10, let's start with Alabama's Jihaad Campbell. You can just see this guy ranging around defenses in the NFL at a lot of different positions. He's got speed at the linebacker position, can come off the edge, get to the quarterback. He can obviously cover other speedy players on the offensive side of the football. Jihaad Campbell's got a lot of great tangible qualities, but also played at a huge program in Alabama, got great coaching there as well, and measurables at the combine. Maybe nobody did themselves more favors than Campbell at the combine. Athletic, especially with the linebacker units. He was the fastest linebacker by most accounts at the combine. A 4.5 240. He cut some weight from last year. He played in the 240s, came in at 235. Jihaad Campbell, a really intriguing prospect out of Alabama. Number 9, Texas wide receiver Matthew Golden. Let's spin the clock back a year ago when another super fast blazing wide receiver came out of UT Austin and went into the NFL and was used by a very creative offensive staff to create space and big plays. The Chiefs' Xavier Worthy. Matthew Golden has the same ability. The guy absolutely flies a 4.29 40. Big plays in big games. 8 catches, 162 yards in the SEC championship game. And then through the playoffs, Texas got a lot of good production out of Matthew Golden there as well in the playoffs. Golden can be used a lot of different places, but particularly in the slot with a creative offensive coordinator. Man, this guy's got big play potential. He bounces around to that field. Golden is the fastest offensive player in this draft. All right, number 8. We just talked about the fastest offensive player in the draft. How about the fastest player in general in this draft? Corner, Kentucky, Maxwell Hairston. A 4.28 40. An incredible vertical leap. A fantastic broad jump. This was a guy that was always ball hawking. Had 5 interceptions on the season, 7 forced incompletions, and when you did catch it against him, he barely gave you any space. Less than 10 yards per catch allowed against receivers. In the SEC, Hairston might just be the next great young corner in this draft. Keep an eye out for him. Number 8 most intriguing prospect. When people think running backs in this draft, they think Ashton Genty. But what about number 7, Ollie Gordon? Oklahoma State star. This guy was unbelievable 2 years ago. More than 1,700 yards rushing in 2023. But man, his production completely fell off the cliff last season, less than 900 yards rushing. And so question marks about his style. He also did not wow anybody in the 40, a 4.61. Now, this is a pretty good running back draft. So he's going to slide. But man, a guy that put up more than 1,700 yards 2 years ago and came into 2024 as one of the most heralded running backs of the nation, that is certainly intriguing in terms of value and potential. Put him at number 7 on this list. What if I told you there was a player in this draft who talent-wise should go in the top 10, but is going to significantly slide, and you'd be able to grab him well after that? Well, that's Michigan corner Will Johnson. Will is a guy that's got a skill set that just every executive drools over, except he battled myriad injuries throughout this season. He was barely ever on the field. But that's a guy that was part of a national championship team and national championship defense 2 years ago in 2023. And if you get him healthy and get him right, man, sky is the limit. I mean, this was a guy that picked off Michael Penix's first play, second half national championship game, which basically sealed the win, and was named defensive MVP of that championship game. Guy's got bona fides. Will Johnson, corner, Wolverines, number 6 most intriguing prospect in this draft. Number 5 most intriguing prospect in this draft is Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe. There were times over the last couple of seasons where Milroe turned something from absolutely nothing. His extend the play type of abilities, being able to use his legs, then use his big arm. In the final year of Nick Saban and then the first year post Nick Saban, there was more than a handful of plays that were only there because of Jalen Milroe. What's the old adage? Chicken salad out of chicken feathers? That was Jalen Milroe a couple of times over the last few seasons. The passing stats don't knock you off your chair. Last 2 seasons, about 2,800 yards passing apiece. 2023, 23 touchdowns, 6 INTs. This past season, though, only 16 touchdowns through the air and 11 interceptions. Yikes. But I'll say this, Joel Klatt's a college football voice that I think many of us respect. I know that I do. And he said that Milroe at the Combine really distinguished himself. He's inconsistent, but he absolutely loves his attributes. So keep an eye on Jalen Milroe, one of the most intriguing prospects of this draft. Are you looking for a slot receiver, a guy with good hands, good route running, and maybe a diamond in the rough you can find in, say, the 4th round? I give you Miami's Xavier Restrepo. This guy caught more than 1,000 yards the last 2 seasons, and with Cam Ward's record-breaking year at Miami, caught 11 touchdown passes this year for an extremely explosive Hurricanes offense. But again, projected to be somewhere in the 4th round or so. I feel like in today's NFL, we're just making sure you have a guy on time, on point, in his route tree. There is always a role for that guy. He's compact, 5'11", about 200 pounds. But you know what? There is going to be a team in this draft that ends up getting him, plugging him in, and knowing they can count on him to be where he needs to be. He might not be the biggest name on the board. He might last until the 3rd or 4th round, but keep Restrepo on your radar. The next pick is Syracuse QB Kyle McCord. Now think about this for a moment. This was a guy that started at Ohio State 2 years ago. Then the Buckeyes decided to move on. Will Howard took over. They won a national championship. Hey, it ended up working out perfectly for the Buckeyes. But one man's trash was another program's treasure, as my Syracuse Orange picked up Kyle McCord in the transfer portal. And let me just say that McCord changed everything. I did a whole DA deep dive about this before the season began, but those of us who are Orange fans, and I'm a football Orange fan going back to the 90s when I was there with Donovan McNabb, was waiting. We've all been waiting for a big-time QB back inside the Carrier Dome. And that's what McCord did. McCord played his best football this season against the best competition. And McCord's swagger, without arrogance, certainly changed the locker room as well. This was a guy that helped Syracuse to only its second 10-win season since Y2K. And man, his performance against Miami was a thing of beauty. And every Orange fan inside the Dome that day saw what we used to remember: great quarterback play, great football from Syracuse. McCord's got the size. He's 6'3", about 220. He's big, he's strong, good arm. He's just not agile. He's not going to run the football a lot, and that's what every executive wants these days. But if you're looking for a pocket passer, McCord is a very intriguing prospect here, and a guy that's a winner. Now, this is the type of list that doesn't take the stars that you know, but instead ones that are a little bit under the radar. So instead of looking at Ashton Jeanty, let's say, as a running back, instead let's look at Ohio State's TreVeyon Henderson. 4 years with the Buckeyes, 2 of them more than 1,900 yards of combined offense. And this past season, look at how valuable he was with the Buckeyes offense. A Buckeyes passing attack that had all of those dynamic wide receivers, and yet Henderson was as important as almost anybody on that attack. As a freshman, this guy found the end zone, 19 combined touchdowns. He just had 10 rushing touchdowns this past year and a very solid 4.43 40. At the combine, he also showed off his hands as a pretty good pass catcher as well. TreVeyon Henderson, one of the most intriguing prospects to me in this draft. Finally, the most intriguing prospect in this draft, I'm going to make it UNC running back Omarion Hampton. Let's just look at what the running backs in the free agent class did last year. We saw Saquon Barkley win a Super Bowl. Derrick Henry helped the Ravens to an amazing season. Josh Jacobs in Green Bay be a real lead horse for the Packers. Austin Eckler found himself in an NFC Championship game in Washington. The running back position is back and of value. And we know Ashton Genty is going to be the first running back selected. But how about Hampton? This is a guy that some scouts say has some Josh Jacobs in him. I've heard comparisons to Nick Chubb as well. Just put on a highlight reel of Hampton's runs in Chapel Hill. This guy runs with speed and power. I love seeing him hit the line of scrimmage, run through a linebacker, break an arm tackle, and then just keep grinding. You'll see tons of power in his runs, especially at the goal line. He'll run through you. He'll drag a pile. But man, if a lane is open, he's got the jets to go the distance as well. So many big plays. He hits the hole fast and he just goes. Last season, he gained more than 1,200 yards after contact. He's got the body to take the beating, 6 foot 220. In terms of making people miss, 73 missed tackles on this guy. He's got vision. He's got instincts. He could also catch the ball out of the backfield. A very reputable 4.46 40. And while all eyes are going to be on Genty, you watch. A great pick, huge value, and you're going to get him on a rookie contract without spending all that money in the free agent market. Hampton's going to come in and help some team right away establish the run. Hey, that's the list of my 10 most intriguing NFL draft prospects. Make sure you are subscribed. Click on this button right next to me. That way you'll be notified when we do more NFL draft deep dives like this one. Watch the others that are right now on this channel. I'm DA, Damon Amendolara. We'll see you next time.